Hello and welcome back to another OMNIHEROES video. In this video I'm just going to go through Anubia, the Jackal Queen, the abilities she has, the synergies that she is in, and where exactly you can use her. So Anubia, for me, I wanted to put this video off as long as possible. And the reason for that is because of her rune skills. So we'll get to that in just a second, but that's just a preface for the video coming up. You'll see different modes, and I'll explain the reasons why she's used so widely in those modes in a second. So if we start out with her teams, so firstly her synergies. First synergy she's on is Ethereals. Within the Ethereals team, she does contribute quite a bit with regards to crit increase, and you'll see that in her kit. She does increase the crit damage of all of your units. Crit chance for all of your units. So a good addition if you don't have one of the other units like Eudora or Karnak to fill out that space. You can always use her in place of those units. The next one, Shadow Arcs. So Chrono Mirage recently released a tier list for synergies, and he placed the Shadow Arc synergy close to the bottom. And I do agree with that. I think that in order for Shadow Arcs to really be relevant or be a relevant synergy that people enjoy using, this dodge chance needs to go up to about 50%. And then when one ally dies, a 50% chance to increase attack of others by 20% for 3 rounds. That needs to increase to 100% chance to increase the attack of other allies by 30% for 3 rounds. I think that's the stat line that it would need in order to be good. And then Phantoms here, another low scoring one. I did disagree slightly with the lower scoring of Phantoms, just because of he did point out that the Phantom synergy or the synergies are ranked generally because of the way that they are, not because of the units that are included. Because as you can see, we've had a recent addition in Narissa, and also a recent addition, for me personally, of Althea in the Oracle shop. So you are able to purchase her shards now in the Oracle shop. Janna is in there, Persephone is in there. You know, you can build good teams with the Phantom synergy, but he did say that it was based on the actual wording here, rather than the units that were included. So I do agree with the placement of the it is a very low synergy. It's when an ally dies, 2 other random fallen allies are revived, restoring 30% of max HP, and it can only be triggered 2 times per battle. If that final clause was not in there, this team would be immortal. It can only be triggered 2 times per battle, but I think that should be increased to 3 times to make it a properly viable strategy. Now, Anubia herself, if we go into her skills, Judgment Strike. Anubia summons the Lord of the Underworld to perform Judgment, dealing up to 375% magic damage to all enemies. So it is an all-enemy hit, which is why it's very good in the Ethereal synergy, along with the other Ethereal units, and I'll show that off in a little bit. Anubia commands her Claw to attack, dealing up to 180% magic damage to backline enemies. And Balance. So when Anubia is deployed, the ally team's crit rate increases by 10% and crit damage increased by 10%. A very good passive ability and a static effect for the entire duration of the match, which is again, it's a very powerful ability, and can be leveraged as well. And the final one, Judgment. Every 1% increase in Anubia's crit rate additionally increase her attack, and then up to 2%. That's not something that we want to do with Anubia, just because she doesn't really do too much damage. She's got a relatively low attack stat, and it's not it's not something you're looking to do with her. Is damage. So her talents, I don't have her up to legendary. I only have up to epic. But increases crit rate by 15% and control resistance rate by 15% and 30% respectively for legendary talents. So just something to keep in mind here. And then this is it. So this section here is the reason that I wanted to put off Anubia for so long, and it is this skill here, the first one. At the start of the round, there's a 50% chance to apply illusion on one random enemy for 2 rounds. So before taking action, removes all of its own buffs, dealing damage equal to 1% of its max HP for each buff removed. And if an enemy, say, has 50 buffs at the start of the round, the buffs get removed, so there's a 50% chance to proc, and the buffs get removed, and the enemy loses 50% HP, which is against bosses. That is a effectively it's a can't be countered ability, in so much like Dorabella, where Dorabella will do 1% damage every time she attacks. So against bosses with large damage reduction stats, or large sort of holy shield stacks, the illusion skill, if it's applied to said boss, will reduce the boss's health down by a significant margin, because it's a percentage. So it deals damage equal to 1% of its max HP for each buff removed. And Anubia's runes, they're not essential for beating the Celestial Trials. I've posted a number of videos with regards to the Celestial Trials, one for each of the Celestial Trials, and I have not used Anubia or her exclusive runes to get as far as I am. As you can see, I don't have copies of them. I don't suggest investing in them either, just simply because there are other priorities. Now, there's lots of content out there through the Discord, through various YouTube channels, on how to progress and what to spend your precious rune coins on. So I would check those out, but I would not suggest purchasing Anubia's runes just straight off the bat. If you do want, like I said, there are other priorities for you, for Anubia. So I'll show you what I mean. If we go into Celestial Trials and we go into Percival, for example, we start the trial. If I go into clear records here, as you can see, Anubia is included in just about every single clear record for this particular event. I've not got her included in here, but I'm still able to progress. So they are not essential, but they really do help. I'm sure that if I had them, I would be able to boost myself up past the level 70 mark effectively for each of these different trials. So if we go into a different trial, I'll have a look at Emily's trial here. Go into clear records, and Anubia is not part of it. As you can see, the Leandra is Leandra and Halissa are the two that you would use for this one. And then Bloodhell Queen, I don't think people would use her in this one either. No, not typically. But I do believe in the Northern Duke, or Bjorn. Yeah, as you can see, so she's included in this lineup for a lot of the different clear records as well. So just something to keep in mind. She can be useful in these events. So you would purchase her runes and be able to clear these events quite quickly. And that's because she will do effectively a massive chunk of damage to Merlin once a round, removing all of his buffs as well. So it is just something to keep in mind with this character. She's not really included on these ones because there's no space really. But again, you really do. She was effectively a cheese way of getting through these particular trials. So let's jump into some gameplay for her while we're here, and we'll just see how well she does at a pretty respectable level of chapter 252. If we go into, not you, 253, the Ethereals trial. Take these guys out. We'll go into here, put Anubia, Karnak, Seraphina, Eudora, Katrina, and Dorabella as well. I'm going to leave Anubia up front, and if we select our relics here, and just give her the best possible chance of victory, we'll do the whip. So here, as you can see, Anubia not linking up too well within the ethereal team that she's a part of, because there's not too many phantoms. I don't believe there's any phantoms really within that synergy. But if you do not have the skins for Katrina and Dorabella, then you'll see Anubia will strike first, even before Eudora, so she's doing a relative amount of damage to the enemies here. You can see Eudora swinging out as she does Dorabella. So Anubia is contributing to the team in the fact that the way that you will, the way that it's set up, if Anubia strikes first, she will give the healing and she will give the shield effect to the rest of the team before anybody else gets a chance to strike. So really impactful, or it can be if you build the team right, giving sort of a shield effect and healing at the very start of every round, again, can be very, very impactful. So as you can see, it worked out very well. She wasn't doing the most damage, so if we have a check, she did the least amount of damage on the entire team, but was providing an additional 10% crit and a 10% crit damage for it as well. So what happens if we take her out of the Ethereals team, and we put her in a Shadow Arcs team? So if we do a full Shadow Arcs team, let's go Persephone. If we go Ellie for a partial Ethereal synergy, and we can go fill this out with Avengers, so Solomon and Mavis potentially. So we'll swap it around this way. I keep our two strikers up front, and we have gone with Avengers, so we'll use the Avengers relics on this. But you'll see she doesn't do anywhere near as much damage as she needs to on this type of team. The synergy that you can run within the Ethereals team is Ellie and Anubia, along with one other Shadow Arcs team. One other Shadow Arc, Persephone, Solomon, something like that, to help get you through these Shadow Arc missions using Katrina and Karnak alongside those Shadow Arcs. But as you can see here, it's not working out too well for us. And it's the reason for that is the Shadow Arcs team, they just they're not great. For me anyway, they're not great. They just need that increased dodge chance. So as you can see, the Phantom synergy kicking in here, and we'll move on to a Phantoms team in a second as well, and just demonstrate that type of team. But as you can see, nowhere near as impactful as in the Ethereal synergies, and it's because of the units that are surrounding her within that Ethereal synergy team. It's just so much more cohesive than the Shadow Arcs team here. So I think we've seen enough of this, the Shadow Arcs. we don't need to see too much more. As you can see, we are losing quite badly. So yeah, so in under 6 rounds we were eliminated, and that was at a relatively respectable level. But Celestials or Deviants, let's go. Let's go back and just see if I've done the Phantom synergy. No, I've not. Excellent. Right, okay, so let's build a Phantoms team here. And I think the Phantoms team that I will build will be a... So there's 3 Phantoms, and then we can see if I had these 2 leveled up, Nerissa and Althea, I could potentially use those within the Phantom synergy. I do have Elma as a Phantom, which does then allow me to put in an Atrops as well. So I think we can switch these round, as Elma will not need the Fortitude, whereas Atrops might. So we have gone Avengers again. In fact, we've not. So we can still use this setup, but I think this might give us a bit more survivability. So let's see how well she does in this. You know, Janna here, excellent unit to support alongside, but really it's just the Shadow Arc synergy and the Phantom synergy that we're looking at the moment. And Phantom synergy for me has always been a nasty one. I've never really had many good Phantoms, but with the inclusion of the 2 new units, so Nerissa and the Althea that have just come to the shop, it can be a very powerful ability, is to resurrect the entire team, especially given the effects of the units that have just popped up as well. So as you can see, doing a bit more damage, and we've taunted the entire team. That's thanks to Elma. But Shadow Arc synergy not really paying... sorry, the Phantom synergy is not really paying off too much here. Because our units are not dying, but they may potentially do. So, we'll see. Increased crit damage and crit rate. It's still not impacting us too much. As you can see, we've not had many crits throughout the course of this combat so far. And there we go, it's a crit and another crit. So she herself is doing relative damage, and she may potentially do the most damage on this team if we're not able to, or if our units don't revive. But as you can see, Janna's strangers have walked in. And Elma here. Excellent Phantom synergy. So we'll bring Persephone back. We're not bringing Janna back, unfortunately, which is a shame. But as you can see, Anubia has been most impactful in her base synergy of Ethereals. She's a very good unit within the Ethereals team and can increase crit damage and crit chance as well. So just the place for her really is within that Ethereals team. There's no real other place for her besides anywhere in the Celestial Trials. So let me know what you think of her. If you do enjoy her, or you think there's another way to play her which I've missed, please do let me know. I'm always open to discuss these things, and I always like finding new strategies. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and I do hope that you have a great day.